What if Donald Trump is the principal of Jujutsu High? We all know that Jujutsu High stands as the pinnacle of cursed technique education, training young sorcerers in the ways of strength and understanding curses. Or at least, that's what the brochure would have us believe. But instead of Principal Yaga, what if Donald Trump was the principal of Jujutsu High? For starters, I see a wall in sight, but let's get right down to the story. Tokyo's Jujutsu High is already chaotic in itself. Now imagine throwing Trump into this mix as the guy in charge. Yeah, it's gonna get messy real quick. The hiring process starts when Principal Yaga retires. Enter Donald Trump, who walks into the meeting with the Jujutsu higher-ups. These old geezers are desperate because nobody wants to deal with running a school full of teenagers who can literally blow stuff up with their emotions. As we've come to see, Trump loves a challenge, and he thinks this is going to be just like any other ones he's dealt with. But boy, is he wrong about that. He pitches to the old guys, "Listen, I've dealt with worse curses than anyone. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the fake news media. Believe me, I know monsters when I see them." The higher-ups know that this is not the same thing, but if he wants the job, why not? But there's also the matter that Trump's got that weird charisma where he can convince people of anything if they're desperate enough. He promises to make Jujutsu High great again and tells them he can even handle Sukuna. So they actually give him the job, a decision that would have Gakuganji have an aneurysm when he hears about it. So, Trump shows up the very next day, and I mean the very next day, because when has this man ever taken time to prepare for anything? He immediately calls an emergency assembly. All the students are confused because they just got this new principal overnight, and nobody knows what's happening. Trump gets up there with his whole chest out, pointing at everyone and goes, "From now on, this school is gonna have the best cursed energy, tremendous cursed energy. We're talking levels of power you've never seen before. It's gonna be beautiful, absolutely beautiful." Yuji raises his hand like, Sensei? Cursed energy doesn't really work that way. And Trump just completely ignores him. Before noon, the school is in a panic as this new principal is set on turning everything upside down. Next, he decides to focus on the Sukuna situation. According to his campaign promise made to the higher-ups, he decides to attempt to handle it. Trump sees Sukuna and immediately thinks of a business opportunity. When Sukuna finally manifests, instead of bowing or showing fear like literally anyone else in history, Trump walks up and goes, "So, you're the famous king of curses. I've heard great things, tremendous things. We should talk business." Sukuna stands there thinking he's never met a human this weird in 1,000 years. Here's this guy with orange hair talking about business deals while Sukuna's literally radiating killing intent. People have died for less, but Sukuna is amused enough to continue to entertain Trump's foolishness. Trump pulls out an actual contract, I'm not even kidding, and starts negotiating. "Okay, here's what I'm thinking. You get controlled manifestation time, maybe take over for a few hours here and there, and in exchange, you provide protection for the school. Think of it as a security counseling gig." Sukuna's so confused and amused by this whole thing that he actually starts listening. Not because he's interested in the deal, but because he's never encountered someone with zero self-awareness. The crazy part is Sukuna agrees to the arrangement. Not because Trump is some kind of genius negotiator, but because Sukuna finds the whole thing so entertaining that he's less hostile. After his success in negotiating with the King of Curses, he starts to gain more confidence. This is where Trump really starts going off the rails. See, Jujutsu society has all these traditions and cultural practices that go back hundreds of years. So, Trump takes one look at all this and decides it needs a complete overhaul. He starts making changes to everything. The uniforms, the training methods, the way students address teachers. Everything is getting the Trump treatment. But the worst part is, he announces his grand plan for securing the Jujutsu world. "We need to build a wall," Trump declares during one of his Trump time announcements. "A big, beautiful wall to separate sorcerers from non-sorcerers. And guess what? The non-sorcerers are gonna pay for it." The students are sitting there like, "Sir, we literally have a barrier around the school already?" But Trump's not listening. He's already drawing up plans for this massive construction project that makes no sense to anyone. Gojo watches from the shadows, amused at this airhead that knows nothing about Jujutsu society. He's enjoying the systematic decimation of everything they hold dear, and he doesn't have to lift a finger. You know it's bad when even teenagers think that you've gone too far. A faction of students and faculty start organizing resistance against Trump's methods. It's led by some of the traditionalist teachers who feel that Trump is basically destroying everything Jujutsu culture stands for. Trump organizes enforcers of his own law, hall monitors, a council that ensures things are running according to his will. And the rebellion refuses to stand for his iron grip rule. The school is literally dividing into factions. You've got the Make Jujutsu Great Again crowd, who are buying into Trump's promises of better facilities and more resources. Then you've got the traditionalists, who think Trump needs to go immediately. Amidst all of this, the media's having a field day with this story. Controversial American takes over elite Japanese school. And knowing Trump, the headlines are writing themselves. The Japanese government's getting involved, asking questions about why a foreign national is running one of their most important institutions. Trump, meanwhile, is loving every second of the attention. He's doing interviews, holding press conferences, tweeting about his tremendous success at reforming jujutsu education. The higher-ups are starting to see that he may not be the best decision, as he's starting to bring unnecessary scrutiny to what should be their secret way of life. Then comes the real test. A major curse outbreak hits Tokyo. This is the kind of crisis that requires all the jujutsu schools to work together, coordinated response, experienced leadership, the whole 9 yards. The other schools take one look at what's happening at Tokyo Jujutsu High and go, yeah, we're not working with this foreigner. Kyoto's probably relieved that they have an excuse not to cooperate. While experienced sorcerers are coordinating evacuation routes and curse elimination strategies, Trump is holding press conferences. While students need clear orders and support, Trump is trying to negotiate with curses that don't understand human language. The man literally knows nothing about curses, cursed energy, or crisis management in this context. All his business experience means nothing when you're dealing with monsters that want to eat people's faces. The poor leadership, of course, leads to hundreds of avoidable deaths. At this point, it's been about 4 months since Trump took over. Throughout this time, Gojo has been away on a mission, keeping cursed wombs at bay in Russia. This is a mission only he and Yuta could have handled. But after a few months, Gojo finally returns, expecting to find everything normal. He's first greeted with Make Jujutsu Great Again banners everywhere, and students walking around looking traumatized. Gojo takes it all in, and you can practically see his brain processing what happened to the school. Without missing a beat, he figures out what's going on and heads straight to the principal's office. Trump is on a phone call, bragging about his tremendous success at running the school. He then looks up and sees Gojo standing there. Now, if you know anything about Gojo, you know that when he's really angry, he gets scary. The kind of angry where he lifts up a part of his blindfold so you can see those dangerous blue eyes. Did you have fun? Gojo asks, his voice so calm it's terrifying. Trump tries to say something, and without another word, Gojo teleports both of them to the highest point he can find in Tokyo. Suddenly, standing on top of Tokyo Skytree, Trump goes from confident to terrified in about 2 seconds. Tell me how the view looks from down there when you get there, Gojo says. Trump breaks down, crying. The higher-ups told me I could do whatever I wanted. They said I had complete authority. I was just trying to help. Gojo lets out this disgusted "tch" sound. Of course they did. Because if there's one thing Gojo hates more than people who hurt his students, it's the Jujutsu higher-ups who enable those people. You have 1 hour to leave, Gojo tells him. You did read my file before taking this job, right? Trump is nodding so hard his head might fall off, because yeah, he definitely knows what Gojo Satoru is capable of. Gojo turns around, intended to fight the higher-ups who approved this whole mess in the first place. And honestly, this might be the moment when Gojo finally decides to do something about them permanently. So, there you have it. What would happen if Trump became principal of Jujutsu High? It would be a complete disaster that somehow generates its own entertainment value, start a rebellion, and its reputation would most likely be destroyed. What do you think? How would this scenario go? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more completely unhinged anime scenarios. Until next time.